So, what happens when a tech giant invents the future, but it still has a multi-billion-dollar present it has to take care of? That's what we're talking about today. We're going to dive into Oracle's incredible high-stakes balancing act between its rock-solid e-business suite and its brand-new cloud-native Fusion applications. And trust me, this was way more than just an upgrade. It was a strategic tightrope walk with billions on the line. And that really gets to the heart of the problem, right? Imagine, thousands of the world's biggest companies are running their entire business on your software. You've just built something way better, way more modern, but you can't just flip a switch on them. So how do you lead them into the future without starting a full-blown customer revolt? To really get what Oracle did, you first have to understand the sheer scale of the problem they were facing. This was a true clash of titans, and it was happening right inside their own product line. Okay, so let's set the stage a little. Back in the 90s, Oracle's e-business suite, everyone just calls it EBS, was the undisputed king of enterprise software. I mean, it was the backbone for countless huge global companies. Then, fast forward to the 2010s, and bam, Fusion applications arrive. This wasn't just a new version. It was a total reinvention, built from the ground up for the cloud. The future was officially here. This slide really lays out just how tricky the situation was. On one side, you've got EBS, the on-premise titan. It's trusted, it's stable, and it lives on servers humming away in their customers' own data centers. These companies had spent billions of dollars and decades customizing it to perfection. Then, on the other side, you've got Fusion, the slick, modern cloud challenger. It's clearly the future. You just can't tell your biggest customers to throw away that massive investment overnight. That's a non-starter. Let's really put ourselves in their shoes for a second. You're the CIO at a Fortune 500 company. Your entire operation, your finances, your supply chain, everything, it all runs on EBS. It just works. Then Oracle, probably your most critical vendor, rolls out Fusion and says, hey, this is the way forward. What's your move? I mean, that is a terrifying career-defining decision to have to make. Now, faced with this massive problem, Oracle could have just forced the issue, right? Told everyone to get on board or get left behind. But instead, they chose a much more elegant path. They developed a formal strategy of coexistence. And this, right here, is where things get really clever. And the key phrase here is official strategy. Coexistence wasn't just some marketing buzzword they threw around. It was a formal, fully supported plan. The message from Oracle to their customers was basically, look, you don't have to choose. Keep your stable, reliable EBS system running your core business, and start using our awesome new Fusion Cloud modules right alongside it. And here's how they actually pulled it off. This wasn't just a vague idea. It was a concrete plan with 4 key pillars. They made it possible to run modules in parallel, creating these hybrid systems. They actually built the tools to help migrate and integrate the data, and, this is the big one, they guaranteed long-term support for EBS, which basically told customers, hey, your existing investment is safe with us. So that's the high-level strategy. But what did this actually look like for those CIOs in the trenches? How did this so-called bridge to the cloud actually work day to day? This quote just nails the whole message. The key to making this work was framing coexistence as a bridge. It wasn't a compromise or some temporary fix you'd get stuck in. No, it was a deliberate strategic bridge to get you to the future, safely and, really importantly, at your own pace. And this table? This is a perfect, real-world example of what that bridge looked like. A company would keep its mission-critical stuff, the heavily customized finance and supply chain systems, running on their on-premise EBS. That's the stable core. But for something like HR or business analytics, where they wanted the latest and greatest features, they could roll out the brand new Fusion Cloud modules. You get modern tools without ripping out the heart of your operation. It's really the best of both worlds. But of course, building this bridge wasn't exactly a walk in the park. Let's be real, this was a huge headache for IT teams. I mean, you're trying to manage super complex data synchronization between 2 totally different systems. You're dealing with difficult integrations, you have to train users on completely new interfaces, all while your main job is to just keep the business running smoothly. It was a tough balancing act. So, you have all that complexity, all that hard work, which leads to the big question. Did this whole delicate balancing act actually work? Was it worth it? The results were, honestly, pretty remarkable. It was a triple win for Oracle. First, and maybe most importantly, customer loyalty was preserved. There was no mass exodus to competitors like SAP or Workday. That was huge. Second, that massive critical revenue stream from EBS was protected, keeping the core business incredibly healthy. And third, it created the perfect on-ramp for their new cloud business to steadily grow. They managed to protect their past while building their future, all at the same time. And that's why this story is so important from a business strategy point of view. For customers, it meant a much safer, lower-risk path to the cloud. For Oracle, it was a genius move to prevent competitors from swooping in and stealing their customers during a vulnerable transition. It absolutely secured their market leadership, and it proved that, yeah, you can successfully run this dual strategy, protecting the old while you nurture the new. So, in the end, thinking about this as Fusion versus EBS is totally the wrong way to look at it. It was never some internal fight for supremacy. It was a masterfully executed balancing act, one that was designed to give huge companies the stability they absolutely needed and the innovation they desperately wanted, all at once. Which leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. In our world today, with nonstop tech disruption, is this idea of building a bridge, this strategy of coexistence, the best way to innovate? Or does it just slow down the inevitable march to the future? Something to chew on.